Malcolm Brogdon has come to be known for his steadying presence and leadership on the court. And with the master's degree in public policy, well, he's a prime example of it being bigger than basketball. But on a recent trip down to the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, Malcolm and his teammates were privileged to a private tour to one of the most consequential landmarks that shaped this nation's history.
Visiting the museum this time, every time I go, it gets more impactful. I learn something new.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing today? Good. Cool. Welcome to the National Civil Rights Museum located at the Lorraine Motel. I'm Tariq. I'm one of the tour guides going to be speaking to y'all today. You guys are standing in a historic place.
There's so much information in there. There's so much to see and look at and observe and take in. But I was excited at the opportunity to learn something new, to reread and refresh my memory on the impact that those before us have had on our lives now. But I was also excited for my teammates, especially the young guys that I know that hadn't been to the museum. It's really a life-changing experience if you really dive into what the information that you're presented with.
So this is actually the day that the first 20 enslaved were brought to the shores of Jamestown, Virginia. 3 to 4 months on this journey, people were locked in the slave ships, forced to eat there, sleep there. If they were pregnant, they bore their children in that space.
I can barely sit in the car for an hour.
Bro, imagine. It just puts all what we do in perspective. We hope for a living.
I think it's important for those young guys to learn about, our history here and, be able to understand how that's impacting our lives, why a lot of us people of color are able to play at the professional level in these leagues. It's because of people like Dr. King, people like Malcolm X, that sacrificed so much before us.
Definitely had high expectations for the young guys. These guys are really professional, really smart guys. Most of them are not even from America. So to have an opportunity for them to learn about the civil rights movement, they were attentive, they learned a lot, and it was a great opportunity for us to go there and learn.
First responders get Dr. King from the balcony and rush him on to St. Joseph's Hospital, right by the river. Today is known as St. Jude. And it's there that he's pronounced dead at 7:05 p.m. on April 4th, 1968. King was 39 years old.
I was just telling my kid in the 7th grade, but almost 2 years for me to understand it. So now it's coming back. I'm getting older. Yeah, it's heavy. It's like heavy stuff.
When a lot of Americans and even, international people think about the civil rights movement in the 60s in the United States, they think about Memphis, Tennessee, they think about Birmingham, Alabama, they think about these pivotal cities during the movement where, a lot of impactful things happened. So for me, I have that perspective. I understand how national this movement really was. It was happening, in all the major cities around the states.
My grandfather marched with Dr. King. So he was leading a lot of marches and sit-ins in Seattle. And like Dr. King had a lot of people people in the church. My grandfather was naming bishops. A lot of bishops, pastors, ministers around the country were all on the same page. So they would unionize and they would practice these sit-ins, these marches all over the country at the same time to have more of a profound impact on the culture and the movement. So my grandfather was one of those people.
He walked with him, right?
Huh?
He walked with him?
Yeah.
That's tough. That shows you.
My family's from all over, bro.
Yeah.
When I talk to people about my grandfather, the main things I think that stick out to people is that he was basically a peer of Dr. King. He led a lot of marches, a lot of sit-ins, a lot of protests. He did a lot of the same things that Dr. King was doing, but he was doing them in a different part of the country. So for me, my grandfather is a role model, and he's my Dr. King. That's often what I tell people. He was my example of what leadership, sacrifice, tenacity looks like in a man.
I'm so thankful for people like Malcolm's grandfather, everybody who has put so much into this country and so much hard work into this country and their own time to fight for the rights that we have today.
There's a lot of ignorance in our country as far as people not wanting to really acknowledge civil rights movement, really acknowledge the system that has been designed in this country to hold people of color back and to put them behind, and also to acknowledge that system is still in place and it's still working very well to do those things. So it's going to be a process that we have to continue to chip at with every generation and continue to raise our kids the right way so they know that they have to be advocates and they have to be actors on this to dismantle that system.